Ever sit down for a quiet lunch and end up part of someone's family tree? That was my Tuesday, and it started with a shady oak, a scuffed picnic table, and a turkey sandwich wrapped in crinkly foil. I wanted silence, just me and a half-eaten bag of chips. The park felt calm, a light breeze, kids in the distance, birds doing their thing. Then a bright smile and a warm voice landed in front of me, like I'd been expected all day. "There you are, we've been waiting for you." She waved people over before I could swallow. In seconds, I was wrapped in hugs, peppered with questions about the drive, eased into the role of long-lost cousin without a chance to protest. A paper plate appeared, piled high. "You have to try Aunt Linda's potato salad." Someone passed barbecue chicken, someone else slid in with family gossip, and I nodded like I knew the cast. My silent lunch turned into a full-blown family reunion mix-up, with names I didn't recognize and kindness I couldn't refuse. What followed was 2 hours of laughs, snapshots, and the world's most chaotic three-legged race. I held a stranger's baby, promised to keep in touch, and learned more about Uncle Dave's new girlfriend than I know about some of my friends. This is the story of how a peaceful park break became an accidental family reunion, complete with surprise hugs, high-calorie sides, and a polite identity crisis. If you love awkward wins, found family vibes, and potato salad that might change your week, you're in the right place. Stick around for the play-by-play, the clues I missed, and the moment I finally tried to make an exit. My peaceful park lunch plans go awry. I came for silence and carbs. A shady table, a soft breeze, and my turkey sandwich felt like a truce with the day. I sat under the oak, set my phone face down, and let the foil crinkle feel like progress. The kind of lunch where no one needs anything from you, not even eye contact. Halfway through my chips, the park shifted. The quiet notes of the place changed key. Laughter carried on the wind, bright and warm, like someone turned up a radio I did not know existed. I glanced up, then looked away, then looked again. Something was moving in my direction, something big. Spotting the growing crowd nearby. They came in pieces at first, like a parade still finding its rhythm. A minivan door slid open, then another. A cooler thumped to the ground. Blankets unfurled with a snap. Kids swarmed the grass in bright sneakers, chasing a soccer ball that had zero respect for boundaries. The adults moved with practiced calm, the kind that says they have done this 100 times. I kept my gaze on my sandwich and tried to act neutral. Head down, bite, chew, breathe. Still, I noticed everything. It is hard not to when the air fills with names and inside jokes. Big red cooler with a stubborn lid. 2 plaid blankets, both slightly crooked. Paper plates stacked like a tiny skyline. A tub labeled in marker, probably the famous potato salad. The laughter grew closer, but so slowly it felt harmless. A stray kick sent the soccer ball near my table. A kid retrieved it with a quick sorry and a grin, then ran back to the center of their world. I took another bite and told myself the park is big. Space is a shared resource. We were fine. The adults circled like puzzle pieces, forming clusters that kept shifting. Someone set up a folding table with a proud flourish. Another waved across the grass, then checked a list on her phone. I did not read it as a sign. I read it as organization. Meanwhile, my table sat at the border between their blankets and the open field. A small detail, easy to miss, like a mistake in a photo you only notice later. I stayed focused on lunch, on routine, on quiet. The crinkle of chip bag, the soft thud of my bottle on the wood, the relief of not talking. I tuned out the sound of names that were not mine, the sharp call of an ant saying plates in 5. A gust shifted the blanket edge closer to my bench. I scooted an inch to make room I did not think I needed to give. If this was a map, my table was the tiny dot right where 2 borders meet. I felt it even if I did not admit it. The distance between me and them kept shrinking by inches. I told myself it was fine. Parks are shared. People overlap. Still, something in the tempo changed. The laughter felt aimed, the path of their steps aligned to my seat. I brushed a crumb from my knee and looked up at the exact wrong time. She was already smiling, bright, certain, moving in like the ending had been written. I felt that soft click of fate, small and loud at once, the way a key sounds when it finally turns. The surprising greeting from a smiling stranger. Her shadow slid across my sandwich like a curtain drop. I looked up into that bright, certain smile and my brain just stalled. She leaned in with a hug that smelled like powder and sunblock and said, "There you are. We've been waiting for you." Before I could get out a single word, she lifted her arm and called people over. Feet pounded the grass. Names I did not know shot through the air like confetti. For a second, I thought I could still fix it. Say, "Wrong person, sorry, have a great day." But the moment had momentum. Warm hands landed on my shoulders. A chorus asked how the drive was, did I make good time, did I bring the photos? I laughed, then heard myself doing it, and it was already too late. I had been claimed. The energy pulled me in like a tide. My quiet table became a dock for happy chaos. A paper plate appeared, heavy and heroic. Somebody said, "You have to try Aunt Linda's potato salad," and placed it in my hands like a promise. I held it like it might answer for me. Instant hugs and questions pour in. Everything hit at once. Hugs from 3 directions. A pat on the back that carried history I did not own. The questions came fast, stacked and looping, and I nodded like a professional. How was the drive? Did you find the exit this time? You still drinking sweet tea, or did city life change you? Grab chicken, it goes fast. Someone nicked the corner of my plate and added barbecue chicken, glossy and hot. Another wedged a fork into my fingers. Aunt Linda's potato salad sat there, golden and loaded, like it knew it was the headliner. I took a bite out of self-defense and almost forgot to breathe. Cold, creamy, sharp with mustard, a little crunch from celery. It tasted like someone's summer memory. I was too stunned to correct them. Words felt risky. Kindness poured over me in layers, warm and sticky as the sauce on my thumb. The way they said my name, which was not my name, made my chest loosen. One guy tugged me aside, voice low like we were in on something. "Man, I didn't think you'd actually show up after last time." I nodded like a person with a complicated past and a new start. Their warmth made escape tricky. Every time I shifted to stand, another auntie pressed a napkin into my hand or asked about work. A kid leaned on my knee and showed me his grass-stained shin like a trophy. A cousin with a laugh like a trumpet said I was skinnier than my pictures, then piled more food on my plate. I tried to steer toward a confession. It got swallowed by a fresh round of welcomes. The rhythm of their questions kept me afloat. I gave safe answers that worked for any life. Long drive, but good. Work is busy, but fine. Yes, I still like sweet tea. No, I do not mind the heat. Someone snapped a photo and pulled me into the frame. I smiled like I meant it. The camera flashed, and now I was part of the evidence. What held me there, beyond the food, was how they made space for me without pause. They folded me into their circle like I was a missing piece. No suspicion, only joy. That kind of open-hearted rush is rare. It felt wrong to reject it. It felt worse to interrupt it with the truth. So I kept chewing. Aunt Linda's potato salad did a lot of heavy lifting. The chicken dripped onto my wrist. I used the napkin, then another. I learned Uncle Dave had a new girlfriend and that it was a whole situation. I nodded like I had thoughts about it. Maybe I did by then. A small voice in my head tried again. Tell them, fix it, be honest. Another voice said, look at them, they are happy you are here. The second voice won. I let the reunion carry me. The hugs kept coming, the questions kept looping, and the kindness closed around me like a soft, bright net, blending in with barbecue and family gossip. My plan was a quiet lunch alone. Instead, I slid straight into a reunion like I had RSVP'd. The trick to surviving a case of mistaken identity at a picnic table is simple. Keep your plate full, keep your smile warm, and say thank you like you belong. Tasting the famous family recipes. The plate in my hands felt like a handshake. Potato salad crowned the center, cool and golden, dusted with paprika like confetti. The first bite had that perfect balance of creamy and tangy. A little mustard bite, a soft crunch from celery, a hit of dill pickle. It tasted like the old kitchen in a house I had never visited but somehow knew. Then came the chicken, glazed, sticky, and smoky, the kind that pulls apart with a sigh. The skin snapped, The sauce clung and the meat stayed tender. Compared to my sad turkey sandwich, this was a rescue mission. My lunch went from office break to Sunday afternoon in 5 bites. I leaned into the roll with polite praise, which only pulled me deeper into their orbit. The more I complimented, the more they believed I was theirs. This potato salad is perfect. Aunt Linda nailed the balance. Whoever made this chicken knows what they are doing. That char is everything. The sauce sticks just right. I could eat a whole bowl of this, no notes. Each compliment bought me time. A nod here, a laugh there, and I was part of the rhythm. Refills found my plate. Someone slipped me a warm roll. An uncle hovered by the grill like a guardian of secrets, basting with careful strokes and checking for that glossy finish. I mirrored the family's rituals without thinking. Napkin tucked, fork ready, eyes up when a new dish arrived. My lonely sandwich sat forgotten in its crinkly foil, a relic of a life where people did not hand me second helpings. I was too busy tasting history in starch and smoke. The table carried stories, and every bite said, "You belong for now." Overhearing juicy family secrets. Food opened the door, gossip kept it propped. It started as a low hum, then sharpened into bites of family lore. I was close enough to catch the spice, not close enough to claim it. That sweet spot where every whisper is a tiny movie. A cousin with careful eyebrows leaned in near the cooler. "She's still mad about the lawn mower thing," he said, eyes wide like it was a known saga. Across the blanket, 2 aunties compared timelines like detectives. "He said it was an accident," one murmured, "but someone just happened to move the fence line." Heads nodded. The air tasted like secrets and barbecue smoke. Pieces floated by. Uncle Dave's new girlfriend skipped brunch, so that's a sign. The group chat blew up last week, something about a missing casserole dish. "He sells sneakers now, like real ones, but do not ask about the storage unit." They swore they were on a break, yet the dog went with her. A teenager filmed a slow pan of the crowd, whispering commentary like a sportscaster. "Team potato salad is winning," she said. The camera caught me. I lifted my fork and committed to my role as the quiet cousin. If I held still, I might pass. Someone brushed my elbow with a secret meant for confidence. "He promised to apologize today. Wait till you see if he actually does it." I made the sound of a person who knows that history. The sound of tough one, and kept my face neutral. The stories stacked into a tower of maybe. An old feud about borrowed tools. A new crush that everyone already had opinions about. A debt that might be settled with a plate of ribs. I heard just enough to stay hooked, not enough to solve the puzzle. It was messy and human, funny and tender, and it moved like weather across the grass. When the grill hissed and the lid lifted, the gossip paused. Plates filled again. The circle reset. Laughter washed over the edges and made the sharp parts soft. I sipped sweet tea, nodded at the right beats, and let the suspense hang in the air. Somewhere out there, the real cousin had a story to return to. I just had sauce on my sleeve and a front row seat to a family I did not know, cheering like I did. Joining games and holding the baby. The shift from stranger to teammate happened fast. 1 minute I was guarding a paper plate, the next I was ankle-deep in chaos with people who swore they knew me. The awkward part fizzled under a louder feeling, the kind that comes with being pulled into a circle. You can fight it, or you can let the laughter carry you. I picked laughter. Racing in the 3-legged fun. A loud auntie with a whistle pointed at me and a grinning guy in a faded ball cap. "Cousins, you're up." Before I could form a gentle no, he was already beside me, kneeling with a strip of red bandana in his hand. He tied our legs like he had done it 100 times. The knot hugged our ankles, snug and certain. We wobbled, tested a step, and nearly kissed the grass. He leaned close. "Left, right, left, trust me." I trusted nothing but gravity and still nodded. The whistle blew. The world narrowed to grass and knees and the drumbeat of our feet trying to agree. We launched forward, a wild animal with 8 limbs and 1 goal. The first 5 steps were pure slapstick. Our joined legs kicked like a cartoon. Someone shouted our names, which were not my names, and we snorted through it. I could feel his laugh in the shake of his shoulder. A kid yelled, "Go, go, go," like we were heroes on a mission. Then it clicked. Left, right, left. our rhythm locked in sharp and quick. We passed the cousins in matching shirts. We passed the uncle who got brave and then panicked. The finish line came up fast, a rope on the grass and a wall of noise. We lunged, half run, half fall, and tumbled across it in a heap. The whistle cut through the cheering. We had won. The pile of hugs arrived before I could stand. Arms around my neck, hands thumping my back, someone laughing so hard they wheezed. The bandana flapped loose around our ankles like a flag of victory. I looked at my partner and he looked at me like we had trained all summer. We shared that stunned, giddy feeling you only get when luck and clumsy teamwork collide. The best part was not the win. It was how the awkwardness evaporated in the roar. There is a moment when a joke becomes a memory, and we were living inside it. I forgot to act like a guest. I shouted like family. A few beats stuck with me. Maybe they stick with you too. The grass stain on my knee that said I gave it a real try. The ant clapping so hard her bracelet flew off. The quick, tight knot of that bandana, still warm from the sun. The way my name, the wrong one, sounded right when they cheered. We unknotted our legs, breathless, and the guy in the cap grinned. "Redemption," he said. I grinned back like I knew the story he meant. Unexpected baby cuddles. Victory barely cooled before a baby appeared in my arms. A soft, pink bundle landed against my chest with a trusting plop. "Hold her a second," the mom said, already turning to fix a sliding headband. The baby blinked up at me with huge, glossy eyes and a serious little mouth. I froze like I was holding a live crown. She smelled like milk and clean cotton. Her fingers pinched my shirt, and she made a tiny squeak that rewired my whole afternoon. I shifted my hands to pass the safety test my brain invented. One under, one around, head supported. It felt like cradling a loaf of warm bread with opinions. A semicircle formed, phones lifted, and the air filled with gentle coos. Someone angled me toward the light. "There, that's sweet." The baby hiccuped and startled herself, then settled back down. My heart did a neat flip. A cousin snapped a burst of photos and narrated like a nature documentarian. "Cousin's got it, look at that form." I smiled without forcing it. The moment stretched, soft and slow. The noise of the park moved to the edges, and all I heard was her quiet breath and the whispered "oh" around us. I felt woven in, no questions asked. They trusted me with the most precious person in the circle, and the trust loosened something I did not know was tight. Then came the classic chorus. "She likes you. Look at those cheeks. Send me that photo." "Okay, one more, she's smiling." The mom adjusted the blanket and tucked a curl behind her ear. She thanked me like I had done something brave. I wanted to tell her the truth, that I was a stranger eating borrowed potato salad. Instead, I nodded, because the truth would have shattered the mood like glass. The baby reached up and patted my chin with that slow, careful touch Bobbies do. I made a face and she squeaked again, half laugh, half surprise. The whole group melted at once. It felt like sunlight, direct and warm. You cannot plan that kind of comfort. It happens when people assume the best about you, and you try to be worthy of it. When I finally handed her back, my shirt had a small milk dot and my chest felt lighter. The mom tucked the baby into her arms and said, "You're a natural." I believed her for 3 full minutes. Then I remembered I was still a guest on the wrong guest list. I stayed for one more photo. The baby's eyelids fluttered, my smile turned real, and someone said, "That one's a keeper." They meant the picture. I felt the words ring anyway. Waving goodbye to my surprise family. The sun slid lower and the party softened around the edges. Kids slowed. The grill hissed one last time. I felt the window to escape open, small and precious. Then the goodbye machine roared to life. The hugs came back, bigger than the first wave, and I was locked in again. I smiled, I nodded, and I kept playing the part because their joy felt weighty in my hands. It was easier to hold it than to drop it. The heartfelt promises to reconnect. The first aunt dabbed her eyes and squeezed my forearm. "Do not be a stranger." Her phone was already out. A contact screen waited like a test I had not studied for. I gave a real number because the lie felt colder than the truth. She typed fast and added a heart. My phone buzzed with a text that read, "So happy you came." I typed back, "Me too." It was true in a sideways way. Then the dominoes fell. One cousin created a group chat with a name I did not deserve, something like Cousins Who Actually Show Up. My screen filled with photos of me holding their baby and trying not to cry. I hearted a few and watched my own face look honest. The nods to future plans grew legs. I nodded too, because it felt kind. We're doing a fall cookout in October, same spot. Christmas Eve is at Aunt Linda's, where something's stretchy. Next time, bring that playlist you made. You still have it right. A guy in a cap grinned and held up his phone for a selfie. We need proof you were here, he said. Snap, done, posted in seconds. He tagged a name that was not mine. I let it float. Sometimes peace is letting the current carry you a little longer. Aunt Linda pressed a card into my palm like it was contraband. Her number, neat and bold. Text me for the potato salad recipe, she said. But not the jar brand, that's family. I promised to guard the secret like it was a bank vault. She believed me without blinking. Someone tried to add me on every app at once. Friend requests stacked like Tetris blocks. I accepted two, stalled on the rest, and smiled like I understood the family tree by heart. An uncle offered a ride next time so I would not get lost off exit 12 again. I thanked him, then promised to bring ice or fold chairs or both. The goodbye circle tightened. A teen held up a finger. Wait, we need birthdays for the calendar. She pointed at me like I was under oath. I dropped a date that would not trigger cake. She nodded, satisfied, and asked for my email. My brain threw confetti in panic. I gave one I actually use, then prayed the inbox gods would be kind. Little rituals sealed the bit. A pinky swear with a kid about a rematch in the three-legged race. A plan to meet at the same bench next month, weather permitting. A Venmo request for gas money that I insisted on sending, which made everyone laugh like I had told a clean joke. I told the grill master I would bring extra sauce next time. He slapped my shoulder and said, "Now you're talking." As I edged toward the path, the promises stacked higher, sweeter. You have to meet Grandma next time. She'll love you. Send me the photo where your eyes are not closed. We missed you last year. Glad you found your way back. The last hug lingered. She smelled like sunscreen and cinnamon. We really are proud of you, she said, and it landed hard in my chest. I told her I was proud of them too. It felt right, like placing a final bow. I waved one more time, then one more after that, the way people do when they cannot end a good thing cleanly. They waved back like I belonged to them, and for a brief, strange stretch I did. My phone buzzed with a new message from the group. Next time you're bringing the sweet tea. I typed, deal, and tucked the phone away before I could think too much. At the sidewalk, I turned. 15 people lifted their hands at once. It looked like a chorus line, bright and sure. I lifted mine, smiled wide, and promised myself I would figure out a graceful exit later. For now, I left slow, like you do when you want the moment to keep breathing. I went to the park for a quiet bite, then a smiling stranger set a new plot in motion. One sentence, there you are, we've been waiting for you, and I was folded into a family reunion like I belonged. That surprise did more than fill my plate. It nudged my social confidence forward, turned shy nods into real laughs, and left me with a pocket full of names I still cannot place. The win was not the three-legged race or the photo where I almost look like a cousin. It was saying yes to the wrong invite and finding the right feeling. Life loves a twist. When it hands you a paper plate and Aunt Linda's potato salad, take the fork. That flavor sticks, bright and mustardy, and it reminds you that kindness travels fast and lands soft. If you have a wild mix-up, a park lunch gone rogue, or a family reunion you never meant to crash, drop it in the comments. Think Reddit thread energy, quick beats, messy details, zero judgment. I want the awkward greetings, the bold uncles, the secret recipes that fixed your afternoon. Thanks for reading and writing the surprise with me. Keep saying yes to small detours. Trust the confusion, trust the good people, and save space for potato salad memories. The next hug might be for you, and it might be perfect.